Hello, this is a brief training video on the Bioness Vector System. It's a dynamic body weight support system, and it accelerates the rehab of patients with balance and gait impairments. The video is going to go through a bunch of topics ranging from the device itself, contraindications, how to put a harness on, the patient training menu, trolley tracking, how to set up fall limits, dynamic body weight support, and some advanced controls like active assist. The harnesses are stored here in a back closet, and the size is printed right on this label on the back. They do run very small. Also, be aware you can put these harnesses on the patients when they're seated in a wheelchair. Just make sure that the pelvis straps are as low and close to the chair as possible. All the patients have to wear this to be attached to the system. It has its size on the back, and they run really small. So this one's a large. Lots of Velcro. I'd say before you even start fiddling with it, make sure all the Velcro is undone so it just goes smoothly with the patient. And if you'll step over here, patient, we will get this on. First thing, you put the arms through the straps and you have them in a safe place. I have a chair behind my patient, maybe a wheelchair, so if they can't stand up this long, they can sit down, or you can place them in the parallel bars. So to start with, we do the lower trunk section first. This is kind of low. Yeah. We do get it right around the hips, and then you can tighten it here, tighten it here. The next section is the middle of the trunk, torso section, I think they call it. And then this section. And once the patient's unweighted, it really does tend to slip, so you need it nice and tight. And I'm going to tighten it one more time. Thank you for standing there. Then you can put the legs on. These are optional. They do help keep the harness from sliding up. So if you can, it's helpful to get those on. So there you have it. And then the next step, I'm going to advance the trolley a bit. The next step is to use these D-rings and hook them onto the spreader bar. You just pinch them and push them in. There we go. So the patient's hooked up and ready to go. Contraindications include weight more than 400 pounds, unstable fractures, halo neck supports, uncontrolled hypertension, uncontrolled diabetes, and severe osteoporosis. To get started, you switch this switch on top of the white box, and a green light will go on over on the trolley. Then you log in with the current logon and ID information. Here we have the main menu. It's helpful to put in patient-specific information here in the patient training section. It's helpful to put in their body weight in case you want to take off a percentage of weight going forward, but it's not mandatory. You can certainly come down here and just start right up with the patient without entering all that information. This is what the handheld device looks like. Across the top, it says manual controls, training controls, advanced training, session status, and take control. The first thing you want to do is hit take control, and that will allow you to use this iPhone-like device instead of the computer over there on the wall. Here's the trolley, and you can see the green light is on up there, so that means it's on. This is the spreader bar where the harness attaches, and the rope here can be winched up and down from the handheld device. The trolley moves along this track, and it detects movements at 1,000 movements per second. So you see up close what I was doing there was up and down, side to side, and then always click auto recovery. All right, this is what the handheld would look like for a very basic training section. The way the system works, you have two different ways to do a training session. You can unload a person's weight by percent of body weight, which we're not going to do today because we did not enter the patient's information from the start. We just came down here and wanted to use the system real quick. So we're going to unweight 25 pounds from this patient. And you can adjust that on the fly with those up and down arrows. There's a drop-down menu. Can you see it there? It says distance. There's two different ways you can set the fall limit: by distance in inches, and that's anywhere from 1 to 36 inches, or you can use speed, and that's how fast the patient falls. We're going to use distance. So it's hard to see, but between the up and down arrows, there is a green number, and because it's green, it's locked in, and that's the inches we're going to go with on the screen. The default is 4 inches, but like I said before, you can go up to 36 inches. So consider giving them 20 inches and allowing them to do some sit to stands in this range. There is a more robust feature called active descent, which we'll look at later, that you can also do sit to stands in, but this would be another option. So here we have fall limit, and we've set it to inches. And if you notice, those two squares are lit up in red. If the dynamic body weight support feature is not activated, the button is green, which is a little confusing because you think green means go, but really you want to tap them and turn them red. And so that's. If the training control looks like this, it means you haven't unweighted 10 pounds back on the manual controls. So you have to winch off some of the weight, and I go a little above 10 pounds to ensure that it will always work. And then you can go back and activate and lock it in so they're both red, and then you can begin your training. So here's that patient walking, and when she falls, because auto recovery has been selected, as soon as she moves a bit, it winches her up back to her starting position, and she can begin again. In advanced training, there's a feature that's particularly useful for sit to stands or floor up transfers, and it's called Ascent Assist. So you need to set an endpoint, and you also have to put the patient's weight in, because we've never done that from the beginning of this training session. But in this case, you really do need the patient weight. And once the patient initiates movement, the winch will assist them getting out of the chair. You just have to remember to set it right there when they are in their finishing point in standing. So I've already done that. We have Anne sitting in the chair, ready to go. Oop, missed it. All right, just lean a little bit forward, Anne, and there it goes, winching her up. That's Ascent Assist. Her up. Okay, now we're going to change it to minimum. Okay. So, and stand where it stands still. Okay. And you can begin walking. And now you're going to fall. Oops, sorry. Okay. So she wasn't able to move because I didn't have those on red. And now we're on minimum. So start and fall slowly. Okay, so that was a fail. So this is a learning opportunity. It actually wasn't a fail. It was just another feature that we hadn't gone over yet. We've typically been using the distance limit for allowing a patient to fall. In this case, we had chosen speed, and it was minimum speed. So you could actually use this feature to allow the patient to slowly lower themselves to the ground, and then at the same time, you would have the active ascent feature engaged, and they could practice a floor up transfer. And it would, once they initiated movement getting up off the floor, it would help them continue to ascend. So this is the end of the training video. You just want to make sure that you log out of the system, put the handheld device back in place to store it and charge it, and then winch up the rope and move the trolley back or forth to an appropriate setting. So thank you for paying attention to this video, and that's all. I hope you learned something useful.